We're ready to get started. So our session today is about Sage 100C. So there's a couple things that I want to tell you all about Sage 100C before we got started looking at the product. One of the questions that we frequently get asked is, what is Sage 100C and how is that different than the Sage 100 or the MAS 90, the MAS 200 that I currently have? So the difference is there's really no difference other than how it is paid for. So, for example, it is just another version, so it's version 2016. So it's similar to if you had 4.5 and you went to 5.0 and then to 2015. It's just another version. It's installed in the same way. It's upgraded in the same way. Everything is the same, except some of the things I'm going to show you today are different. The other piece of that is Sage is moving to a subscription model. So everyone yearly pays a maintenance to get the new features, and that is normally paid either to Sage or to Oasis, and we do that on your behalf. And Sage is starting to go in a different direction with that and do a subscription. So your price will not change at this point. It's the same thing, but it's just paid in a different way. So you would actually pay that straight to Sage, and it is renewed every year automatically. So that's a little bit of difference. So if you have questions about that, let us know, because it is a different structure. You are not at all forced to do that. So it's your choice. So we've had some people who have done it and some people who've not. So it's your choice. So let us know if you have questions about that, and we can kind of guide you through that also. So what Sage has done with this version, the 2016 version, is they've made it more modern looking and also added some features. So the biggest piece of this is the user interface that you're going to see, and also the back end was restructured so that it's easier to connect with it with different products. So there's a lot of different applications out there that you can connect easier with this version and going forward of Sage 100C. So after we look at this, I'm going to tell you all about some things that are on the roadmap for the next year, actually going out 2 years. We'll look at those features as well. So this is the new interface, what it looks like. So I really like it. I think it's very clean looking. It's very I keep using the word modern, but that's the word they're using, and just has a lot better look and feel, I think, than the other interface. So you'll notice over on the right-hand side is my Business Insights dashboard. So hopefully you all are using this dashboard. It's really a nice feature. Everyone that's on the call has this dashboard. So whether you've set it up or not, we can help you with that. Very easy. It's a very wizard-driven, but it's very more up-to-date and modern-looking than the past dashboards. The other thing on this screen is you'll notice here I have tabs just like any other website would have, and so I can go to Oasis's. This is our website, so you can access that now from within your Sage. You can look at what's new, and then I can go to an information center. So all this information is there in the version that you have, but it's just easier to access it in this version. So they're doing a lot of ease of user interface with this version. So then if I look over on the left-hand side, down at the bottom, I have web content, modules, and favorites. I'm going to start at the bottom and go up. So if I click on favorites, this is where I can drag and drop things within the software that I do normally. So if you do customer maintenance, cash receipts, AP invoice entry, so you can just drag and drop that over there. So I'm just going to do this one just to show you what it does. So I can just drag and drop that over there to the left. And again, that's by user, so everybody has their own favorites and I like it because it's right there on the front screen. So it's similar to the task menus we have now, but this is just easier to see. And then also going up from there is modules. So I have my modules list here, and just like we've had before, and I can access it from here or up here on the top. I can also change modules as well. So it's a little bit cleaner look, I think, and easier to look at. And I'm going to show you something in a minute that I really like too. So, and we're going to come back to this tree to show you that. And then under web content, you can add any kind of websites that you want to here. So I can just do a right click and do edit web content. And if there is a website that you frequent, then I'm just going to put the IRS on here. You're all going to love that. Put the IRS on here, and it adds it over here to the left automatically. So I added Oasis website here, so you can log on and get to our help desk easily from right inside your Sage 100, or I can get to the IRS website, or whatever websites you want to get to, you can add here just by doing a right click and just adding that feature to the web content. So again, very, very easy to use, very nice interface. And then also under the web content, again, I have the Information Center, which opens it up over here in this tab, resources, feature tours. So these are things that you already have, but they're just presented in a different way. A lot easier to look at these features in this version. And also, there's some other things here. Up here at the top, I can go to View, and here's one of the things that I really like, because over the years, you know, we've been doing this for 25 years, I've always thought, why are the modules not in a alphabetical list? They're just kind of random on your list. And so what they've done is that I can do sort module list. So now when I go back to my modules, they are actually in alphabetical order, which makes sense to me. So I'm still getting used to it, so you'll see me kind of scroll around a little bit, but I like it. It's more logical. The other thing about this list is now I can use my roller key on my mouse and be able to scroll up and down that list as well, that module list. And then also I can resort my module menus. So within the module, it will resort the menus, and then also my tasks within the menus. So that makes your view a little bit easier. So just, again, some user interface things as well. And then also under this view, people over the years have said that it seems like the font is too small on their screens. So they've added some scaling there. So I can add a medium, so see my font will change, or I can say large. My font gets bigger. So and again, that's by user. So that's a nice feature too. So it makes it easier to see. And then one of the other things that they've done to help the user interface is over here on the left, I can choose different types of what I want that to look like. So you see when I clicked on that, it kind of turned this a little bit grayish color. That's a dark gray, which is not pretty. Then there's a green and there's a blue. So I can make changes to the way that that my interface looks, and make it a little bit more what I want it to look like too. And then across the top, of course, I have my favorites again. So those are the ones that I did the drag and drop from down here. And then I can access my modules from here as well. And I can go back home. So one of the features also, we had somebody recently that said that some of their people were not good with change, and they weren't sure about this new interface. And they said, could we have it look like it used to look? So what Sage did for that is under Change User Settings, I can change this down here on my desktop. Now it's called Standard. I can go back to Classic. So that's the tree view, probably whatever all of you all have that are on the call, everybody has, is that tree view. So that's called the classic view. So I just click on that for the user, and it looks like it always has. So, you know, which that's nice, because that transition between if you've used that product for a really long time and then trying to go to a new user interface and not have any choice, that just makes it easier. So that was nice that they did that. And also added some themes. And you can add your own themes. There's a wizard that steps you through it, but there's a couple on here, like there's a blue theme. So it's going to make everything on my screens blue, so you'll see when I go into some of the screens how it looks. So that's some of the user interface things that they've done to make it look a little bit more modern. So I'm going to go into accounts receivable, because I want you all to see what that looks like. So I'm in accounts receivable, and again, I sorted mine, so you'll see my Explore, because it starts with an E, is at the top. My main, period end, reports, setup, and utilities. So it's in a different order because I told it on my view that I wanted to sort it that way. So I could go back and say to unsort it, and it's going to put it back in the order that I'm used to seeing it, so which is main first. But then you'll notice too when I go in here that because I had this option, it sorted it under main alphabetically. So if you say, well, that isn't logical to me, then you can unsort that, and it puts it back the way that it was. So again, that's by user, so whatever makes sense to you is how you can set it up. I'm going to go into account customer maintenance so you can see some of the screens and how they've been changed. So this is a customer, so you'll notice that it looks a lot cleaner. It's a lot more, to me it looks brighter and just a lot cleaner than the other versions of it. So you still have the tabs across the top, but the interface looks different. The other thing that I like about this too is on anything that's a grid, it now has the contrast between the lines. So if I'm doing sales order entry, for example, you'll see it on that screen as well. So anything that has a grid has the contrasting lines on there, which I think is nice. You can also turn that off in the settings, but I like to be able to see the difference between the lines on there too. So that's a little bit different about how that looks. And you'll see this one looks lighter gray and a darker gray and lighter and a darker. So on all the screens that are grid, that's what it looks like. So that's just a preview of what all the screens look like, a little brighter, a little bit easier, I think, to read, definitely. One of the other features that was added is under accounts payable, under vendor maintenance. There is a feature under additional. When you set someone up as a 1099, it has this box now for electronic consent signed. So if you are going to send a 1099 to a vendor and you've gotten a consent signed to do that, you can now have that box there and you can click that. And then this box here is if you were doing some international vendors and needed to have that confirmed. So that's something that they added here as well. And of course, you know, my thought is, you know, when I see that is that you can also attach copies of their consent up here under the memos. So hopefully everybody's using that memo feature and being able to do attachments to those. But that's what I would do is attach those consents there to the actual vendor as well. And then let's see, I'm gonna exit out of here. A couple other things that they added, which I think that was really needed, is under the sales order module. Now the customer PO field has been expanded. So it used to be, so you'll see on here, the customer PO field has been expanded, and it used to be very short, maybe like 10 characters, and now it's up to, I think, 30 characters on that PO field, which is good. So that's a good addition. And the other thing they've done on the sales order screen is on the back, on the totals, this check number field has been expanded. So it used to be small, and now it's a larger check number field as well. And again, if I go to the lines, you see that the different gradation in the line color there too. One of the other things that Sage added to this version, which may not matter to you all, but over the years when we've done crystal reports for people, they've said, I want to know who created this sales order, for example. When I do a sales order report, I want to see who created it, the date it was created, maybe the time it was created. Those fields are now there in the dictionaries so that we can add those easily onto the reports. We've always been able to add them, but it's been very convoluted to do it. So now those fields are there, and we're able to add them onto the reports easily. So that's one of the things that's a nice feature as well. And then also, there's always been extended descriptions for inventory items, but not extended descriptions for non-inventory items. So if you are selling things either that are non-inventory and you have inventory, or maybe you're a service company and you don't have inventory, you now have the option to have extended descriptions for those items that you put on an order or on an invoice that have extended descriptions. So that's been really nice. That's something that we've had people ask for over the years quite a bit, so you can have more detail on those items. And then the other thing that has changed or added on the general ledger has been an interface to Sage's payroll services. So you may not be aware that Sage a couple years ago bought a payroll company, and you can actually have them process your payroll. So it's similar to an ADP, for example. But the advantage is it already has the interface to the general ledger in Sage, so which is nice. So that interface is already there. The GL account numbers will come in after you do the payroll. So we see a lot of people, and I think part of it is probably because of the ACA regulations. We see a lot of people outsourcing their payroll more so now than we ever have. So Sage, again, purchased a company that does that, and it has the interface into the general ledger with this version, which is nice. So if you want to know more about that, about the payroll services company, just let us know, and we can get you connected with that. And it doesn't hurt to, if you're outsourcing payroll now, if you want to get a competitive price, doesn't hurt to do that. So that's another feature that's there as well. So there's some other features that are in this version that are a little bit more, not really user interface type features, but they are behind the scenes, again, that makes other applications easier to connect with Sage. So everybody always says, what's the C after Sage 100C? And the C means connected. So and that's their purpose of this version, because we see a lot of people wanting to connect mobile sales modules and payment modules and payroll and things like that. So it's just a more connected version, as well as a better, more clean user interface too. And then thinking about the road ahead, again, this is the version that they're starting out, just doing a lot of things with the user interface and then adding features as we go along. One of the things that's going to come up next year, which I really like, is a global search. So you know how when you go into a program and up at the top, usually it's up at the top on the right, it'll say search. And if you type in anything, it will find that most likely in anything that's on that program or on that website. So that's a global search. So if I put in, you know, ABC company, and I don't know is it a vendor or is it a customer, it's going to go through and search through that and come up with everything that says ABC company. So you don't really think about it, but when you have it, because I use it with other programs, it's really handy. So that's something that's going to come out. They're saying first quarter of 2017. So that's the target date. We're also they're going to put multi-bin warehousing in the system, and that was slated for October of this year, and it's been pushed back. I heard the other day until February of next year. But for people that use warehouses and have multiple bins in a warehouse, it's a great feature. So we've had people ask for that a lot. Then also in 2017, they're coming out with an Office 365 mobile sales. And I don't know a whole lot of detail about it yet. These are just things that are on Sage's roadmap. And we'll get more detail as it comes along, and we'll share it with everyone. The other thing that's there is AP automation. Again, I don't have enough detail, but it sounds interesting. So we'll see what that looks like. The other thing that is going to be next year, these are just the big things. There's going to be a lot of little things too that come out, but these are the big things, is that the job cost module will actually be in the same programming format as the other modules. So currently it's not, and they're putting that into the other modules, and that will be in June of next year. So we're looking forward to that one too. And then in 2018, they're going to add document management. And again, I don't know enough detail about it, but that's pretty exciting. We have people ask us about it all the time about document management, so that'll be good. And then they're going to have more bank statement automation. So that I can only imagine what that looks like because I've seen it with other programs, and so that'll be good. And then cloud backup as well. So they're going to have a backup system that's in the cloud that will back up your Sage 100 as well. So that sounds like an interesting one too. So I want to, while I have you all here, I'm going to talk about something that that's in your, probably in your version that you have now, most likely. But I want to talk about it because we've seen a lot of this lately, and I'm sure you all have heard about things in the news, people with cybersecurity and things like that. And I just want to make sure, because every time I ask somebody this question, they don't know about this. So in your bank reconciliation module, if you have that module, there's an option on there for positive pay. So, and what this does is every time I write checks, let's say I write check number 1 through 20 in accounts payable, it creates a file that can be sent to the bank. And then let's say that someone broke into my desk and they stole my checks, and they wrote check number 25 and tried to cash it. The bank wouldn't cash it because it's not in that file of positive pay. So it's a, I had somebody that told me not too long ago that they did have someone break into their office and stole their checks, but they didn't steal all of them. They took them like from in the middle. And so you didn't really realize that they were gone, and they were able to duplicate signatures and cash these checks and all that. Had they had positive pay, that wouldn't have happened. So we've been talking a lot recently with internally and with our customers. We've had several customers get hit with some viruses that and they thought they had backups and they didn't. So it's been not good for some people. But so that's one of the things that's there, that's in your system, and some banks charge you for it and some banks don't. Depends on your relationship. But I just wanted to point that out while I have some people on the line. I always like to say it while we have people there, have your attention. So just wanted to say that. And then also going along with that, one of the things that we see a lot recently, or in the past year, I guess, is people doing ACH payments to their vendors. So I was talking to somebody the other day and asked them if they did ACH payments, and they said no, because they can't do it in their software. I said, well, you can. So it is a feature in Sage, and it's been there in the past, 3 or 4 versions. So a lot of people on the call would have that feature, I would guess. So under the vendor, there's electronic payment, and then over on the right, I can put in their bank information, and it will actually generate that ACH for them. So we see a lot of people doing that. We get a lot of ACH, it seems like, more now than we ever have. So people are doing that instead of writing checks. So that was just a couple things that I wanted to point out. And then also, there are so many features inside your Sage product, and we see that people probably use maybe 25 to 30% of the system. And we obviously want to get that to be a higher percentage, because the more you use it, the happier you're going to be with the system. So every month we have webinars that outline different features in the software. So the other day we had one for accounts receivable, and we had a really good attendance. I think we had 35, 40 people on that webinar. It was great. It was supposed to be an hour, and it ran like an hour and a half because everybody was asking questions. But it was specifically about accounts receivable and the features and things like that. So it's a really good sessions, and we send emailers out every month about it. But those are free webinars you can attend. Even if you sign up and you can't attend, we will send you the recording. We record all of them. So just want to make sure everybody's aware of that so that you can get more out of your software. It's also good if you have new employees as well. So I just wanted to put that out there. So that's really all I have to show you guys today on Sage 100C. As they add new features in, we'll do webinars and things for it. So I'm not sure if you guys are muted or not, but if anybody has any if they want to put it into the chat, either Dee Dee or I can get those answers. And you're always welcome to contact any of us with any questions about anything as well. So I don't know. I don't see any chats or anything in the box. So I am going to give you guys about 25 minutes back for your day. So it's supposed to be an hour webinar, and we finished early. So I appreciate you all coming. And again, let us know if you have any questions. And we will send this recording out in case you want to have other people in your office that want to listen to this. It'll also be on our website. So thank you for coming, and we will see you next time.
Muted.